wants to follow him is that they must deny themselves. They must deny themselves. And why does Christ start with denying ourselves? Christ starts with that because he understands how difficult and how strong and how compelling the flesh is, the human nature is. He knows how difficult it is, the flesh can be, how difficult the human nature can be, how tempting it is for us to want to please ourselves before God. That is one of the most difficult things there is to do, to put God first and put ourselves second. So Christ starts with that because he knows it's very, very difficult. That's what the Bible tells us again in the Word of God, that what the Spirit wars against the flesh and the flesh against the Spirit. So to deny ourselves means that we firstly have to bring the sinful desires and behavior of our human nature under subjection to the authority and the Word of God. We have to be able to bring our flesh, our sinful human nature, under subjection to the authority and to the Word of God. It doesn't mean that we will not make mistakes. So I'm not talking about sinless perfection here. No. We will make mistakes, but there has to be a desire, an ongoing desire to want to fight against the sinful desires of our flesh and to bring those sinful desires and behaviors under the authority of Christ and the Word of God. Denying ourselves means that we have to be willing to live by the power of the Spirit of God and not living by our flesh. It's very, very important. Denying ourselves means that we must be willing to do things God's way and not our way. Doing things the way God prescribes and not our way. It means being willing to live according to God's laws and precepts, no matter how difficult it may sometimes be. And believe me, it will be difficult. Christianity is not for wimps. Let me repeat that. Christianity is not for wimps. It is difficult to go against the grain. It is difficult to go against the world. It is difficult to stand and say no to the world's ways and say no to the flesh and to try and stand upon the Word of God. But we are able to do it by the power and by the Spirit of God. And we know that even in the difficult times, even in the hard times when we have to make difficult choices that honor God, we can trust that God's grace and God's strength will carry us through by the power of His Spirit.